Your four favorites are Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Bridget Jones's Diary, American Beauty, and Fallen Leaves. My top choice for you is Jerry Maguire. There's a line in Eternal Sunshine that's a reference to one of the most famous lines in Jerry Maguire. Renee Zellweger, aka Bridget Jones, is in it. It's somewhat comparable to American Beauty because the protagonists in both films have a crisis or epiphany about their jobs where they're kind of like, what am I doing? And Jerry Maguire can also be considered a romantic comedy like Fallen Leaves. Amelie is one of the first movies I wrote down. I feel like there's a quirkiness to your four favorites, and I think this movie really fits the vibe. And it's a romantic comedy like Bridget Jones and Fallen Leaves. When I compile my list of recommendations, I usually jot down everything that comes to mind first and then sift through it after. And it turns out I wrote down The Apartment twice, so I guess on a subconscious level, my brain really thought you'd like this one. I initially wrote it down when I was thinking of romantic comedies, but then I found out that Sam Mendes cited The Apartment as an inspiration when he was making American Beauty. He even thanked Billy Wilder in his acceptance speech at the Oscars. And when American Beauty won Best Actor at the Oscars, the award was dedicated to Jack Lemmon for his performance in The Apartment. My go-to recommendation for people with Eternal Sunshine in their favorites is always Little Fish because it's a sci-fi romance film about memory. But another sci-fi romance that I think you'd like is Her. This one's more fantasy than sci-fi, but I also think you'd like Ruby Sparks. Since you like Bridget Jones's Diary, I think you should check out another romantic comedy starring Renee Zellweger, Down with Love. You already saw a lot of the movies that come to mind when I think of Bridget Jones, but that movie was based on the novel of the same name, and the novel was loosely inspired by Jane Austen's novel Pride and Prejudice, and you didn't have the 2005 film adaptation of Pride and Prejudice marked as watch. Or you could watch the 1995 adaptation, which stars Colin Firth, who was also in Bridget Jones's Diary. I also get the sense that you might enjoy Bridesmaids, Waitress, and The Philadelphia Story. American Beauty definitely drew some inspiration from Lolita, including the characters' names. Lolita's real name is Dolores Hayes. Mina Savari's character in American Beauty is Angela Hayes. Lester Burnham is the protagonist in American Beauty, and that name is an anagram for Humbert Learns, Humbert being the protagonist in Lolita. When I was thinking about American Beauty, I was thinking of movies about dysfunctional families, and one of the first ones that came to mind was Ordinary People. Coincidentally, there's at least one shot in American Beauty that's an homage to a scene in Ordinary People. Little Children also came to mind, and Kate Winslet is in it, and she was in Eternal Sunshine. But a few more films about dysfunctional families that I think you'd like since you like American Beauty are The Ice Storm, Far From Heaven, and The Royal Tenenbaums. Magnolia also came to mind because, like American Beauty, it came out in 1999, and the characters are all pretty unhappy. I could also see you enjoying Ghost World, which stars Thora Birch, who played Jane in American Beauty. Since you like Fallen Leaves, I definitely think you should check out some other films from the same director. And Shadows in Paradise would be my top choice since it's a romantic comedy, and you've got two romantic comedies in your favorites. But I also think you'd enjoy The Match Factory Girl. Oh, and the characters in Fallen Leaves go see The Dead Don't Die in theaters. You didn't have that marked as watch. And I remember when Fallen Leaves came out and the posters of them watching a movie in the theater, and everyone was like, you'll never guess which movie they're watching in that shot. And they were right.